Hi, in this lecture series, we will understand how to perform parameterized mapping data flow in Azure Data Factory. What happens when you transfer the data from data lake storage Gen 2 to another data lake storage Gen 2? You do not have fixed source and destination. You do not have fixed directory name. Sometimes you need variable file name, variable folder name as well. How to perform these parameters, how to add this parameter at runtime. So you will have to give the parameterized way and mapping this data flow into the copy data activity. Here we will see how to perform this hands-on practice, and let's practice and use parameters in a mapping data flow. So in order to understand this scenario, we have this documentation from learn.microsoft.com. This is showing that you can create parameters in your ADF, in your copy data activity, and you can map everything here. So you can create this data flow, you can create this pipeline, and all these given functions and given parameters are given here. So let's go ahead with the Azure Data Factory now. So I'm going to show the current ADF for running copy activity. Here is the running copy activity, and you can see I do not have fixed container name, directory name, and file name. So I just give the variable name. How these are variables name? Because you can see here inside the input container, I just have input container here. Inside this storage, I just go to the source storage, and now I just go inside the container, input container. Inside the input directory, this is the source destination source part, and I just have input CSV. So if I go to the edit part, can you see it's showing no name and roll number? So if I add one more value here, Kumar, then 99 roll number is there. Just save this data set, and if I run this, currently it will show the previous data set which we have only one row. Now it will map another data flow also, another data frame also. Meanwhile, let me show the output container ingredient. So here we have the output container. In this storage, I just have output storage, and inside this container we have output container, and now inside the output container I have output directory. So now we have the output CSV. If you go to the edit part, can you see it's showing Kumar 99, which is the correct and the correct scenario. Now you can see if this copy activity succeeded. Now you can see the output. Here is the transformation, or the shifting from source to destination is properly completed. Let's see how to done this activity here. So I'm going to create new storage and going to create new resources, everything. So first I'm going to create the resource group. So here I'm going to create new resource group. So I'm going to create, okay, so I'm going to create resource group test2, select the proper region. If it is not, it is nearest to your location, so select, I'm going to select the center India here, and then next tag. I'm not going to keep any tag here, and go to the next. If we have create and review, so we can everything showing correctly, so I'm going to create this create and review. Right now I'm going to create two storage. So first storage for input and second one is for output. So I'm going to create first storage account, selecting the second resource group test2, and keep the proper name. So input storage test2, and selecting the proper center India, and going to the next here, click on this hierarchy namespace, click on next, click on next, click on next, click on next. I'm going to keep every other settings as usual. and just hit create. Now this, meanwhile this storage is being created, I can create another storage. Let's close other storage, another ADF file. I'm going to leave it. So here I'm having the storage account. I'm going to create output storage. So going to select the resource group test2. This is the storage. This is the output storage test2 and the center India, and next, and then we have the hierarchy, the next, and then next, and then review and create. Finally I'll create this output storage test2. So if you can see, this is giving output option, create option. I can create this output storage. Now go to the input storage test2. I can create containers now. So I'm going to create containers. So I'm going to create input container test2. I'm going to create it, and can you see it's showing here inside this test2. I'm going to create add directory. So I'm going to create input directory test2. So I'm going to create it, and inside this input directory test2 I'm going to upload CSV file. So I'm going to upload this CSV file. This is the input. Let me show the content of this input. If you can see the open, so here we have the input name and roll number only. So let's keep another name, for example Jyoti, and this roll number is 53. So I'm going to now save, close, save, input data set. All right, now I'm going to select, open this file, upload here, and if I open this file to see the preview of this input.csv, I will find this is the this is consisting only 2 rows. If you want to add more values, so you can go ahead. For example, I'm going to write Kumar, comma 82. This is the roll number of this third candidate. I'm going to save it now. Click OK, and go to the output storage. So this was done for the input storage. Now I'm going to click on this output storage. Inside this output storage, I'm going to create this containers. This is going to containers. So I'm going to create output container test2. So this is going to create, and inside this output create, I'm going to create output directory test2. So I'm going to create this output directory test2. Inside this output directory, I won't keep anything, any file, because this is the, so now I do not have anything inside the output container because I want to copy or paste that input file here. So I'm going to jump to the input file. So here you can see this is showing the, if I click on this home, and I want to create new ADF. So I'm going to create new ADF from here. This is the ADF factory. So I'm already created this ADF instances. I'm going to just launch Studio here. So in this ADF, I'll create a copy activity, and inside this copy activity, I'll create two data set first. First is for input data set, and second one is for output data set. So let's create this ADF. So go to the author. Inside this author, I am going to create the new data set. So this would be the Lake Gen 2. So I'm going to click continue. Here this CSV file. Yes, I'll select the CSV file. I'm going to create this input underscore dataset underscore test2. All right, so this is not taking the new old these are old link services. So I'm going to create new services now, new link services. So I'm going to create link services. This is for input So I'm going to create input test2. So this is the link service for my input directory, and this is test2 because this is I'm performing second time. So I want to select this key, account key, Azure subscription paid storage account. So storage account, I'm going to select input storage test2 now. Now I click on create. So here is the point. I do not select the file path from here as we did done earlier, input container, input test directory. I can select, but that won't be parameterized form. That would be the fixed one. I want to keep dynamic here. So I'm going to leave all these three parameters and import schema none. That's okay. That's it from here. And here you can see the file path. So in order to make these three file paths, I need three parameters. So what I'll do, I click on these parameters, or I'll first create the parameter from here. So inside this parameter term, I'll create three parameter. Why three parameter? First is for file system, second is for directory, and third is for file name. So in the parameters, I'm going to create new. So I'm going to create input container. All right. So this is the input container. Second parameter is for input directory. That's the input directory. Third parameter is for input file. All right, so these three are input connections. If you go back input, create the add dynamic content, you can create here, and you can see all these parameters are showing here, which we just created here. Now I'm going to select the input container. Can you see it showing dynamic content below using the combination expression and functions and system variables? If you want to see more details over here, you can click over the documentation part. You can see this is showing the expression and functions in the Azure Data Factory, and everything is showing here. What is the nomenclature and what is the part? What is the other parts here? If you want to illustrate more about the, if you want to have the illustration part of this system variables, you can go here and find these how to integrate with the pipeline scope, schedule trigger scope, and other documentations are already given here. Now let's go back to the ADF file. Here we have the first parameter which is automatically defining here. I'm going to click OK. Now inside the directory, I'm going to click add dynamic. This time I'll select the input directory and click OK. This time I'm selecting input file, and I'm going to select input file here and will click OK. That's it. So these are three input files, three input nomenclature, I would say. Now I'm going to create the output dataset test2. So this is the again CSV file or link gen 2. I'm going to click this one. This is CSV file. I'm going to click it. Now this would be the output underscore dataset underscore test2, and I'm going to create new link service for the connection, for establishing dialog with the link service. I'm going to click this one. So this would be the ls uh, underscore output underscore test2. So this is the second link service. So I'm going to keep all the settings same. I'm going to select my Azure subscription, going to select Azure data storage account name. This is the output storage test2. So I'm going to select this part, and all right, so if it will show this option, then I can select this part value. Can you see now it's showing the create option? So I can click on this create, and it will find the same file path, directory, and file name. So I can leave it empty because I do not want to make it constant. So I'm going to click OK, and then again the same parameters I'll create here. So this time I'm going to create the output directory, because this first pass is for file set. So I'm going to create this output uh, container, and the new path, I'm going to select this output directory, and this I'm going to keep it output file. So here I can see the output file now. Now I can see the connections here. This is the connection path. Inside this connection, I'm going to add contain. So this is the output container. I'm going to select this output container. This is the output directory. So I'm going to click the output directory here. And this is the file name. So I'm going to select the file name here, output file. That's it. All right. So now I can select this value here. So now I can publish it. If anything looks incorrect, it will show that path. So it's going to publishing. So meanwhile, uh, can you see? Meanwhile, it's going to save other parameters also. Now I'm going to create the pipeline, and this pipeline will be of copy. So copy data. So inside this copy, I'm going to select the source. So what is the source here? So for us, output data set, sorry, input data set test2. This is the source for us. Can you see it's showing, it's asking three parameters, and these parameters are the input container. So here we will have to provide the input container. So I'll provide the input container name, and I'll provide the input directory. So I'll go here inside this input container. I'll select the input directory test2. We'll paste it here, and we'll select the input CSV. Here I have the input CSV. That's it. These three files I need to provide the path inside this one. Now I go to the sink. Inside the sink, I'll select the output data set. So this is the output path, and again it's asking three parameters. So I'm going to provide the, I just go to the next storage. So here we have the output storage. So here is the output container. So I can copy this output container, go back here. So this is the output container test2. Inside this output container, if I go here, I can see output directory test2. So I can copy this part and just paste it here, and then I can give any output file name. So I can go with output.csv. That's it. And now if I can publish it, so it's going to publish everything here. So this is going to publish first, then I'll validate, then I'll debug this activity. This is the proper sequence to perform any activity here. Can you see? It's a publishing completed, and you can validate now. Your pipeline has been validated, no error found. This is the final, this should be final verdict from the ATF point of view. So now I can debug this part. If you will debug, so it will show the queue, and very soon it will be succeed if no error found in this video, in this pipeline from source to destination. Most common errors are if you have provided containers, folders, and like then you have containers, then you have directory, then you have file names. So we have 6 parameters. So might be out of the 6 parameters, someone might be incorrectly given, someone might have incorrectly names given there. So as you can see, this is the succeeded. If you can see the output, this is showing the output here. If you want to see the success status, you can see this is the performance, copy performance detail from here. And if you want to see the managed part, you can see the it's already managed everything. If you want to monitor this part, you can see this would be monitor your integration runtime. Here we have integration runtime. If you want to see the for example the link services, you can see this is these are the link services. And again, let's check the output container. So inside the output directory, we have the output CSV. Can you see? This is the output CSV, and I want to see this output here. Can you see? It's showing the respective output. Now what's other things? For example, if you have some other values, now you have other directory name. For example, inside this output directory, I have another directory. For example, output 2 test2. So this is the second directory. I want to paste my dataset inside this directory. So how would I do that? So go back here inside the ATF, inside the author, inside your copied activity, go to the sync. Inside this one, just give hit here slash, and let's keep this another file name output2.csv, and debug this line again. So it will uh, it will find inside this output container test. It will go inside this output directory test2. Inside this it will find output 2 test2. Inside here, can you see, meanwhile we were checking this path, it's just copied that, and if you go back this output, definitely this might be succeeded. Can you see, it's a succeeded because we just provided the correct directory by separating by slash. All right, so it's a not the backslash, it's the forward slash. Now if you want to have more hierarchy inside the directory, so you can give by slash 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 everything here. Now if you want to see this output to CSV ingredient, you can see, you can open this output.csv, click on this edit part. Can you see, it's also showing the same file, same directory, same everything here, right? So that's it. This is how you can parameterize your everything, and you can go with the parameter part. Otherwise this would be the constant value. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you very much.